human being is sacred, that every human being is inviolable, has inherent dignity, and is an end in him or herself. These kinds of convictions, these kinds of claims are inescapably religious. So if we have a crisis in human rights, that 60 years into this regime we still confront our failure to prevent the atrocities of Rwanda, Darfur, and Srebrenica, and if justification requires the language and the logic of the sacred, it could be that an invaluable contribution of Muslims, Christians, and Jews together in interfaith dialogue is to focus our conversation on our distinctive approaches to justify the claims for universal human rights. This is an example in this new century of how together we can bring the resources of our religious traditions to bear on the intellectual challenges that define this moment. We have a new role to play as part of the desecularization of our age. Second, if the last century provided a new regime of human rights, perhaps this century could bring into being a regime of human development. The very idea that we could take on anything so ambitious as the Millennium Development Goals, this too represents a new moment. And many of our colleagues over these last few days have focused on the significance of this moment. But remember, it was only in 1990 that the first UN Development Report was ever issued. The logic behind that report, a logic developed by people like Amartya Sen and Martha Nussbaum, moves us into a recognition of the need to build the capacities, the capabilities of every human being in ways that will enable each person to flourish, and also the need to create the opportunities for these capabilities to be developed. An extraordinary framework for how such a regime could come into place is provided by a group of reports of this decade, the Arab Human Development Reports, which were published between 2002 and 2005. These reports recognize the urgent needs that we face as a human community. 65 million Arabs are illiterate, 2/3 of whom are women. 10 million children between ages 6 and 15 of age are currently out of school. If current trends persist, the numbers will increase by 40% by 2015. Only 0.6% of the population uses the internet. 15% are unemployed, and no generation of young Arabs has been as large as today. 100 million new jobs will be required in the region by 2020. We can't miss this moment. Right now, we have an opportunity in our lifetimes to create a new framework, a new understanding of our responsibilities to one another. The Arab Human Development Reports provide an unprecedented roadmap for human development. This is an extraordinary moment. Let's ensure that when future generations look back on this moment, they will find a people who grasped this moment and established a new framework of responsibility for one another. And finally, can we have the opportunities to be together in rooms like this? Can we truly touch our people and share with them the important insights that we have learned through our work together in ways that make their lives more meaningful and provide a greater chance for security in each of their lives? The most common concern raised in every one of these gatherings that I've had the privilege to participate over the last many years, and it's come up in several comments over the course of these days is always, how do we connect our understanding, developed and deepened by the conversations that take place here, through the trust that is built here, with those who will never have these opportunities, but who instead confront day-to-day realities shaped by mistrust, resentment, misunderstanding, threats of violence, and confusion? Can our universities and schools, our churches and mosques, begin the process of preparing the next generations to go out and share, to connect with people in need of the perspective that can make their lives that much more meaningful and provide a greater framework for human security? This is not just an idealistic affirmation of the obvious. It's an urgent necessity. We do not know each other. Our people do not know each other. Look at some of the findings of DeGioia Mugahead's research. 44% of Americans say Muslims are too extreme in their religious beliefs. Nearly 1/4 of Americans say they would not want a Muslim as a neighbor. 32% say they admire nothing about the Muslim world. A majority say they know nothing or not much about the opinions and beliefs of people who live in the Muslim world. And yet, the more Americans report knowing about Muslim countries, the more likely they are to hold positive views of those countries. I could keep going, providing further insights that DeGioia uncovered that support the point that we really don't know each other. The moral challenge for us: can we prepare our young people to come to know one another? They share so much culture, music, film, fashion. Can we provide them with the skills and the abilities that they will need to engage with one another and to come to understand one another at ever deeper levels? So 3 thoughts. First, can together we ensure that the resources of our religious traditions are brought into discourse on the intellectual challenges that we face, where previously our traditions were not deemed relevant? An example, the question of the justification of human rights. Second, can we bring into this new century the regime of human development, a recognition of the need to develop the promise, the capabilities, the capacities, and the opportunities of all of our people? And third, can we create new frameworks in which the vast diversity of people who identify with a religious tradition are called to engage with one another? Can we come to know one another? Can we prepare our young people to go out to be embodiments of hope, embodiments of love, and instruments of justice? And the answer to these questions, I believe we will find our call to action. Thank you.